If you would, please remain standing for the invocation to be led by Professor Timothy W. Floyd.
As we gather on this wonderful occasion, class of 2019, it is right and proper that we pause to give thanks. Let us be grateful for the gifts and talents you have been given that brought you to this place. And let us be grateful for the blessings of hard work, dedication, and persistence that have brought you through the past 3 years. Let us be grateful for the sharpened intelligence and practical wisdom you developed in your time here in law school. And let us give thanks for the satisfaction of hard work well done, the grace of an encouraging word, and the blessing of a smile. Let us give thanks for the friendships you have made and deepened here, and that will continue over distances of time and of miles as you go forth from here. And let us give thanks for all of the family, friends, and loved ones who have supported you in countless ways, seen and unseen. May today be a time of remembering the past, of celebrating the present, and of looking to the future with confidence, with gratitude, and with joy. Amen.
Please be seated. On behalf of the Board of Trustees and the faculties of the university, it's my privilege to welcome you to this commencement for Mercer University's Walter F. George School of Law. I want to congratulate each of our graduates today on your achievements that have brought you to this important hour of recognition and commencement. The role that lawyers have played in leading our nation through times of crisis and in defining, developing, and preserving our rights, liberties, and responsibilities makes me proud to be a lawyer. I'm proud of the contributions to our freedom made by great lawyers, and I'm proud of the many important things accomplished every day in the lives of people by members of our profession. Every one of you will have the opportunity to accomplish great things in the lives of people who place their trust in you. When you entered this law school on the first day of orientation 3 years ago, you accepted the responsibility of doing everything you could over the next 3 years to be the best lawyer you could be. You've worked hard to be where you are today. You've earned the diploma you'll receive later in this program. You're ready to accept the responsibilities of joining an honorable profession. So again, I offer you my sincere congratulations. I also want to congratulate the family, teachers, and friends who have assembled here today. You've played a vital role in the success of these graduates. Your support and encouragement have truly made this day possible. So we offer all of you our thanks and gratitude. Kathy Cox, who serves as Dean of the School of Law, will now bring greetings from the school.
Good afternoon. It is also my pleasure to welcome you to this historic and exciting occasion in the life of Mercer Law School, our 2019 commencement. Graduates, you are a significant part of Mercer Law School's 146-year history. As you know, we learned from Professor Fleissner at Thursday night's senior awards celebration that the very first woman graduated from Mercer Law School 100 years ago this year. Today, we will graduate 61 women, representing almost 48% of the class. That is a remarkable and historic change in the legal profession. We are grateful that you all chose Mercer and invested so much of your life with us over these past 3 years. I hope you are reflecting today on all that you have accomplished and recognizing that while it was hard, really hard at times, you did it. You have proven to yourselves and to others that you can take on difficult tasks, put in the effort to meet those challenges, and succeed. You are different people today, hopefully better, stronger, smarter, more ethically grounded, and professionally focused individuals because of your 3 years here at Mercer Law School. We, the faculty and staff, are certainly better for having shared these years with you. So to you all, congratulations and thank you. You have earned this the old-fashioned way, by working hard to get here today. Let me pause and recognize those who share the stage with me today. If you would hold your applause until I introduce them all. To your left, our Student Bar President, Maggie Connerly, our Alumni Association President, Ann Caulfield-Wiggins, Professor Tim Floyd, who offered our invocation, Assistant Dean of Students, Jenny Wright, and on the right side of the podium, President Underwood, alumnus Doc Snyder, and our commencement speaker, Sally Yates, both of whom will be more formally introduced in a few moments, and Mercer University Provost, Dr. Scott Davis. Let's thank all of our program participants. Graduates, as you know, there are many people who have contributed to your success and have supported you on this journey. I'd like to ask all of the parents, grandparents, spouses, partners, and other family members and friends of our graduates to stand and accept well-deserved thanks from our graduates. We are thankful too. The Mercer Law School faculty and staff have challenged you graduates with invaluable learning opportunities as you prepared for this day. Their dedicated teaching and wise counsel have guided your learning and personal development both in and outside the classroom. So I'd like to ask the Mercer Law School faculty and staff to stand and accept our thanks for their commitment to the success of our students. Thank you, thank you. Graduates, I hope you say thank you often today. You have earned this JD, but a lot of people helped and supported you on this journey. And I hope you will continue to express your gratitude to them and to so many others who will help you along your career path in the years to come. Now, let's get on with our celebration.
I'm pleased that my friend and colleague, Richard Doc Snyder, could be with us here today. Doc is one of the great courtroom lawyers in the United States. In addition to being a partner at King & Spalding in Atlanta, he's an elected member of the American College of Trial Lawyers, which I consider to be the top association of the finest trial lawyers in the United States. He's a graduate of our School of Law and a member of the Board of Trustees of the university. I now invite Doc to introduce today's speaker.
President Underwood, Dean Cox, distinguished guests, special greetings to the Mercer graduating class of 2019 and your family and friends. You did it. I bring you fist pumps and high fives. Well done. Glad you're here. Now, you're about to embark on a new adventure in the law, and your ending here is your beginning, the commencement of a new journey. And to get you off on the right foot, to encourage you to be your very best, you need a commencement speaker to fire you up. And Mercer does not fool around in that department, or in any department. For your commencement speaker is one of the most famous and accomplished lawyers in the world today. I'm so honored to have my friend, Sally Yates here to address the class of 2019. This is a memorable day. Carry it in your heart. Build it behind your eyes. Now, the truth is that Sally Yates needs no introduction, but I'm going to give her one anyway. Of course, you know that Sally served our country for 27 years, rising from her role as a federal prosecutor in Atlanta in 1989 to the highest legal roles in our country as the Deputy Attorney General of the United States in 2015 and the Acting Attorney General of the United States in 2017. And prior to that, in 2010, Sally was named the U.S. Attorney for the Northern District of Georgia in Atlanta, the first woman ever to hold that position. She's tried numerous high-profile cases, including the successful prosecution of the 1996 Olympic bomber, Eric Rudolph. And she's a fellow of the American College of Trial Lawyers, as you just heard President Underwood say. And all of that is amazing. And Sally is amazing. But I thought the best way to introduce you to Sally was to share with you how it was that she was introduced to me and how I came to know her. Now, as fate would have it, the first light of Sally's comet appeared at King & Spalding, where Sally began her career in 1986. She was at the firm for 3 years before her career in public service. I'm delighted to note, particularly for all the partners at King & Spalding, that at long last year, Sally came home to King & Spalding, and we are once again together. We're the dynamic duo. She is dynamic, and I'm the duo. But back to the beginning. I met Sally in '86. I'd been at King & Spalding for 5 years, having joined the firm after graduating from Mercer Law in 1981. And Sally was a shiny new law school graduate who joined our litigation department that fall. She was Sally Quillian then, was years away from marrying the gentlest soul on earth, Comer Yates, and years before her cherished daughter and son, Kelly and Quill, appeared on the scene. And in the early days, I sized Sally up. She was whip smart. She was tough as nails and soft as smoke. She was reliable, charismatic, but best of all, she was quick to laugh at the world, at herself, and a lot at me. Her only real shortcoming was that she was not a Mercer lawyer. She went to Dunwoody High in Atlanta, got a journalism degree from UGA in '82, and a law degree there in '86, but she was not a Mercer lawyer. Now, in those days, all of the truly great lawyers at King & Spalding were Mercer lawyers. We had Griffin Bell, who chaired JFK's presidential campaign in Georgia in 1960, who was a Fifth Circuit judge for 15 years, and who was the Attorney General of the United States under President Carter. We had Frank Jones, the quintessential trial lawyer's trial lawyer. And we had Bob Steed, beloved. He was the one who struck the deal that put the law school building on top of Coleman Hill. And he made our law school famous for his humorous columns, although not for his legal work. But Sally was not a Mercer lawyer. But man, she was everything else. And after a couple of years of working together, I sized her up again. I found she's still whip smart and all that other stuff. But on one occasion, maybe more, I'm sorry to say that I found her presumptuous. Now let me explain. I was elected as a partner in '88, and Sally and I continued to work on matters from time to time. But sometimes we worked apart on different matters, and that's where this presumptuous came in. Sally was working on a real dog of a case, and with a really demanding partner. And it wasn't me. I'm a sweetheart. It wasn't me. But Sally was working on this case, and the facts were so bad, and the partner was such a taskmaster that it was killing her. And so I'm toiling away in my office, and Sally bursts through the door, and she says, "Doc, you have got to get on this case. I need a buffer to protect me from this pressure cooker. And our claim is terrible. We need to settle it, but no one will listen to me. You got to get on this case. So I arch my eyebrows, brush back my hair, and I said, Sally, that is not how things work. We do not have associates coming into partners' offices and assigning them to cases. And Sally said, Doc, I'm telling you, you have to do this. I thought that was very presumptuous. But I'll be doggone if I didn't do exactly as instructed. By morning, I was working on the case, and the demanding partner was yelling at me instead of Sally, and Sally was walking around like the cat who swallowed the canary. And that was not the end of it. In the ensuing weeks, this third-year associate convinced Judge Bell, dean of a bar, and the partner in charge that the right result was to settle immediately for anything we could get, and we did it immediately. Sally had a way of taking charge and getting things done. Eric Holder has called her a steel magnolia, and I can tell you he was right about the steel part, and the magnolia. My 3 years of working with Sally were just plain fun. I never laughed so much in all of my career. Sally has a tremendous sense of humor, and I am very funny, and so it was a veritable laugh fest. I kid you not. But one morning in September of 1989, Sally burst through my door like Kramer on Seinfeld, and she said the three saddest words I ever heard her say, "I'm out of here." I was crestfallen. Sally had been hired as an assistant U.S. attorney by Bob Barr to follow her lifelong dream of becoming a federal prosecutor. The example of government service set by Judge Bell and others at the firm, and by her own father, who'd been a Court of Appeals judge in Georgia, was a strong calling for Sally. I had no idea she would one day sit in the very chair held by Judge Bell as the highest-ranking lawyer in the land, as acting Attorney General of the United States. But I did know she was going places. In those 3 early years together, in between the laughter, I saw the flash of light. I privately called it Sally's Comet, and I've watched it rise through all these years. You know, today on law school campuses all around the nation, commencement speakers are arising and heading for podiums to say a few words. But no one else on any podium, anywhere else, gets to say what I get to say here today. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Sally Yates.
Wow, thank you, Doc. That's a hard act to follow, let me just say that. I think we should just actually call Doc back up and let him wing a commencement address for you. I think you would be trading up at this point. I also want to thank Dean Cox today, not just for inviting me here, but for her leadership of Mercer Law School and of our state. You know, she is one of those all too rare people who really combines true vision with a heartfelt commitment to public service, and all of us are the beneficiaries of that. So thank you, Dean Cox. But most of all, I want to thank all of you, the graduates of the Mercer Law School class of 2019, for inviting me to share in this day with you. It is a real privilege. And before I go on any longer, I want to say congratulations. You have worked incredibly hard to get here today, and I hope that you'll pause in all of this, just kind of revel for a minute in your accomplishments. And to all the parents of the graduates out here, you have to be incredibly proud of your sons and daughters here today, and feel just sheer joy in their accomplishments. So congratulations to all of you as well. You know, it's as trite as it sounds, it feels like only yesterday that I was graduating from law school, which was really the beginning of a life-altering experience for me. I love
being a lawyer. And at the risk of losing all credibility with you right out of the gate, I'm going to have to admit to you, I really liked law school too. I liked the academic rigor. I was nerdy enough to enjoy the research. I liked the sparring in class. But a big part of the reason why I liked law school was because of the relationships that I formed. You know, you get really close to people in the boot camp that is law school. But while I really liked law school, I hadn't really experienced yet what it is that makes me love being a lawyer. And that began the day that I started practicing law. Even though, as Doc mentioned, I'm a graduate of the University of Georgia School of Law, some of the earliest lessons that I learned about what it means to be a lawyer, I learned from two graduates of Mercer Law School, Doc Snyder and Judge Griffin Bell. Doc mentioned that when I first came to KNS, I found myself lucky enough to be assigned to several cases to work with Doc. And since he told a story on me, I can tell one as well. We were both a lot younger then, given that it was back in the late 80s. My hair was a lot bigger then. Actually, I think Doc's hair was a lot bigger then too. And the first case that was assigned to me with Doc came with a multi-page memo from him of like 25 or 30 issues that he wanted me to research. You know, to this day, I don't think I've completed researching all of those issues. You know, Doc had thought about our case from every conceivable angle. He had the rare ability to be able to see around corners and to project how things might play out. And he was going to ensure that whatever came our way, we were prepared for it. I saw the same thing in Doc in preparing witnesses. I remember one client who I can only really charitably describe as the worst witness I have ever seen in my life. And we had been over and over this with him. It's about 3 o'clock in the morning, and he's going to be testifying first thing the next day, and I was finally able to cajole Doc into letting him go home and get a little bit of sleep. But the lesson I learned from that is that even when Doc didn't have much to work with in that witness, through sheer force of will and determination, he was going to drag him over the finish line. Doc brought that same level of rigor and excellence to everything he did, every task, no matter how big or how small. Nothing was going to fall through the cracks with him. He was all in. And he expected everybody else to be all in too. I've never known a better lawyer than Doc Snyder. And part of this, yes, is born out of Doc's sheer brain power. He did graduate first in his class here at Mercer Law School. But, you know, there are plenty of really smart, mediocre lawyers out there. Because the difference between being a good lawyer and being a great lawyer is the commitment to true excellence that you have every day in every task. That was a really powerful lesson for me to learn as a young lawyer. But working with that kind of intensity doesn't mean that you have to beat the fun out of everything. You know, as Doc mentioned, I've never laughed more in my legal career than I did when I was working with Doc. You know, it's not only essential that you trust and respect the people with whom you're working, but given that you spend the majority of your waking hours at work, it's really important that you like those folks too. Doc brings the same commitment to his relationships that he does to his work. And I was married a few years after joining King & Spalding, and despite the fact that Doc is juggling a million different legal balls, he somehow managed to write a wedding song for us, both the lyrics and the music. You know, it's easy to let your legal career consume you, but while being a lawyer will be an important part of who you are, it's not all of who you are. You have to invest in your relationships that are important to you in the same way that you invest in your work. Doc taught me that starting 30 years ago, and he's still teaching that to me through our friendship here today. The second Mercer Law graduate who really shaped how I look at the law and the responsibility of being a lawyer was Griffin Bell, the former Attorney General and a partner at King & Spalding when I joined there as a young associate. I was a second-year associate at King & Spalding and in Atlanta when Judge Bell assigned to me a pro bono case to represent a woman by the name of Lovey Morrison in Barrow County, Georgia. Miss Morrison's daughter had been a client of another lawyer at the firm at the Saturday Lawyer Program, a pro bono program put on by the Atlanta Bar, and she had kept his card. And when her mother needed help, she came back to King & Spalding. Well, Judge Bell had known my dad and my grandfather. They were both lawyers as well, as Doc mentioned, and he knew that they were from Barrow County. And so when Miss Morrison came, he gave me a call and brought me to his office, told me about Miss Morrison's plight, and said that we needed to help her. Miss Morrison's family was the first African-American landowner in Barrow County, Georgia. They had owned 93 acres of land. Going back to the 1930s, about 6.2 acres of which had been annexed by a real estate developer building a subdivision. The problem was that Miss Morrison, who was mistrustful of the white court system back in the 1930s, had not timely recorded her deed. Instead, this deed was written on a piece of cloth, and she carried it folded up, tucked down inside her dress every single day as she was working out in the fields. By the time she did record it, a conflicting survey for another adjoining property had already been filed and was on the books, and this is what the developer was using to lay claim to her property. In the 1930s, in rural Georgia, Miss Morrison had very good reason not to trust the court system. But in the 1980s, it was being given another opportunity to earn her trust. So we filed an action to return the property using a theory I had learned in first-year law school I had planned on forgetting: adverse possession. Miss Morrison's family had used that property by washing their clothes in the stream that went through it and cutting firewood there, going back to those years. And as luck would have it, there was actually a witness to this who was still alive, whose family was known as the Dixie Mafia at that time, and she was the matriarch of this family. And they knew about our client's use of the stream because they had used the stream in another place to make moonshine. So this is not your typical big firm case. We needed Miss Chancey to testify at trial, but she didn't exactly have a warm feeling for the court system because the last time that she had been in a courtroom was when her husband had been sent to the state penitentiary for killing a man and dropping him down a well. So after many afternoons of iced tea on Miss Chancey's porch, she finally agreed to testify. From the moment that Judge Bell told me that we needed to help Miss Morrison, he made it clear that she was to get the very best representation that we could give her. You know, I had pretty much given up my work for paying clients at this point and had put hours over months into Miss Morrison's case. And while I was totally committed to her, the fact of the matter was, not only had I never tried a case, I'd never even seen a trial before. So Judge Bell enlisted a senior partner in our firm with decades of trial experience, Charlie Curbo, who also just happened to be President Carter's closest advisor when he was president to guide me through the process. Ms. Morrison was our client, and Judge Bell was going to make sure that she received the same commitment from us that we would have given to the Coca-Cola Company. It never would have occurred to him to do anything else. When the case was tried, Our client and her daughter were the only two African Americans in the courtroom. The Supreme Court's decision in Batson prohibiting the use of race in jury selection had not yet been applied to civil cases, and so the opposing lawyers struck all the African Americans from the jury. The defendant, his experts, and the lawyers on the other side were all pretty much personally known to many of the jurors. This was a small town then, and all logic would tell you that our client didn't stand a chance of prevailing on a claim of adverse possession in that setting. But a remarkable thing happened in that jury room. That group of 12 jurors who went to church with the defendant, who used the defendant's lawyer as their own, they did the right thing. I wish I could tell you today that their verdict was the result of something I had done, like an inspirational opening or a really blistering cross-examination. But the fact of the matter is that the verdict was in spite of my performance and not because of it. I wasn't so much of an instrument of justice there as I was a witness to it. Those 12 people were given an opportunity to do what was right, and they embraced it. And I think our client wasn't the only one who left the courtroom that day with a newfound confidence in our justice system. I think those jurors really left with a real sense of pride at having taken their responsibility to heart and having done what was right. Ms. Morrison's case didn't make any headlines. It wasn't about a lot of money, and we didn't establish any new legal principles. But this experience and Judge Bell's example to me demonstrated just how powerful unlocking justice can be. The second way that Judge Bell influenced my legal life was by encouraging me to go to the Department of Justice. Not long after I had concluded Ms. Morrison's trial, Judge Bell suggested that I apply for a position as an assistant United States attorney in the U.S. Attorney's Office in Atlanta. And he told me that he thought I should go there for a few years and get some trial experience and then come back to the firm. And that's what I thought I would do. When I told a friend of mine who had also served as a federal prosecutor that was my plan, he told me that I might just rethink that coming back to the firm in a couple of years thing once I got there. And he said, after you have that first experience of standing up in a courtroom and saying, ready for the people of the United States. Boy, was he right. When I joined DOJ, I experienced what it's like to be part of an organization whose sole mission is to seek justice. Our responsibility at the Justice Department wasn't to win cases. It wasn't just to get big settlements, and it sure wasn't just to put people in prison. Our responsibility was to seek justice. That's it. As a federal prosecutor, I was called upon to do what I believed was right and fair and just every day in every case. I had the opportunity to stand up for victims, to make communities safer, and most importantly, and this is absolutely the most important part, to try to do it in a way that engendered the trust of the people whom we served. It was the privilege of a lifetime. But seeking justice wasn't just an opportunity, it was also a responsibility. While our job at DOJ was to do the right thing, sometimes it's not so clear what the right thing is. And while equal justice is a foundational promise in our country, there is no denying that there are real and troubling inequities in our criminal justice system, including racial disparities and disparities based upon socioeconomic status and wealth. And as a country, we're really still too tethered to the erroneous notion that we can somehow jail our way into safer communities, without also investing in the other two essential prongs of meaningful prevention and ensuring that when people come out of prison, that they have the tools they need to be able to be successful. Through my service as U.S. Attorney and especially as Deputy Attorney General, I was fortunate to have the opportunity to try to be able to have an impact on these issues, not just in a case-by-case basis, but in a systemic fashion. So while I went to the Justice Department thinking that I would stay there for a couple of years and then come back, I remained there for 27 years because I was so totally committed to the privilege of representing the people of the United States. I have Judge Bell to thank for that. And had he not encouraged me to keep an open mind and to maybe try something out that wasn't in my career plan, I never would have found my true professional calling. When I became Deputy Attorney General, the first thing I did when I got to DOJ was to track down Judge Bell's portrait. And when I found it, I had it moved to my conference room so that every day as I sat at that table, grappling with issues from pressing national security problems to prison reform, I did it under the watchful eye of Griffin Bell. And finally, Judge Bell's service as Attorney General served as a model for how critical it is that the Justice Department preserve the rule of law. He took the helm of DOJ as Attorney General in the wake of Watergate. And I know that for our graduates here today, Watergate seems like ancient history. But after the Saturday Night Massacre, when President Nixon had the Watergate special prosecutor fired, and Nixon's Attorney General, John Mitchell, had forgotten that he represented the people of the United States, and he went to prison for his role in the scandal, the country had lost its faith in the Department of Justice and the rule of law. And Attorney General Bell set out to restore it. This was no small task. But Attorney General Bell was determined to reestablish DOJ's independence to ensure that the power of the law and the Justice Department couldn't be used as a sword to go after political enemies or as a shield to protect friends. Attorney General Bell made clear that the law is an instrument of justice, not of power. And not long after he got to DOJ, he stood in the Great Hall there, a magnificent room with DOJ employees overflowing. And he told them that the Department of Justice, and these are his words, as the guardian and keeper of the law, must be recognized by the citizens as a neutral zone, where neither favor nor pressure nor politics is permitted to influence the administration of the law. And he didn't just give speeches about it, he actually did something about it. He put in strict restrictions on communication between the White House and the Justice Department on cases and investigations, in his words, to prevent any outside interference in reaching professional judgments on legal matters. Attorney General Bell didn't know when he sat where you are today, when he was graduating from Mercer Law School, that he would one day be called upon to defend the cornerstone of our democracy, the rule of law. But he rose to meet the challenge of his day. Now, while you may or may not serve as Attorney General one day, you too will face weighty decisions over the course of your career. And that compass that's inside all of us, that compass that guides us in times of challenge, is being built every day with every experience. So the time for introspection is really all along the way to develop a sense of who you are and what you stand for, because you never know when you may be called upon to answer that question. As I think about what's ahead for all of you, I have to tell you that I envy you. I envy that you're on the front end of this exciting adventure of being a lawyer. whether it's resolving a civil dispute or ensuring that an individual criminally charged is afforded his or her rights, or doing what I did for many years, holding people accountable who violate the law. The people of this country are counting on all of you, the lawyers, to achieve justice. It's an incredibly rewarding profession, but a really challenging one, and it requires giving it everything you've got, like Doc Snyder does every single day. And to do your job, you're going to have to be able to make decisions. You're no good to a client if you just give them a range of options without also making a recommendation to them as to what they should do. You may be wrong, but your clients aren't going to just be paying you for your labor, they're paying you for your judgment. Exercise it. And when you're exercising that judgment, beware of always taking the safest course, because the safest course is not always the best course. While I'm not advocating for being reckless or irresponsible, to fully embrace both life and being a lawyer, you have to be willing to take a risk, to be uncomfortable, to be bold. Regardless of whether you're bold or cautious, you also have to be willing to own your decisions. There's nothing worse than that person who tries to wipe away his or her fingerprints from a decision after things hit the fan. Not only does that generally not work, but if your colleagues sense that you're going to cut and run after things go south, they're not going to trust you. And if they don't trust you, they're not going to include you in the big moments, the moments that you went to law school for. The fact of the matter is, you're going to make mistakes. We all do. I recall vividly a deposition in the case, actually, that Doc told you about a few minutes ago. This deposition was the first I had ever taken, and it was an outright disaster. The case was about the failure of a big crane in the Savannah port, and we had gone to Savannah there to depose the other side's expert, who was a Russian engineer. And I realize now in hindsight, this deposition couldn't have been very important if they allowed me to do it, but I didn't realize that at the time. So this expert, who is a Russian engineer, was chain smoking throughout the entire deposition. That's when people could actually smoke in depositions. And he had one of those long cigarette holders that he held from underneath as he smoked and sort of held it like Cruella de Vil. I was incredibly nervous, and throughout this deposition, he was literally, not just figuratively, blowing smoke in my face. I did an absolutely miserable job. I don't think I made a single point there. He totally owned me. On the flight back, the partner I was with, that same oppressive partner that Doc mentioned to you a minute ago, he thought this would be a good time to critique my performance. So we're sitting in the front of the plane, both on aisle seats across from each other, he one row ahead of me. And he turned around and for the entire flight back from Savannah to Atlanta, told me and everybody else on that plane in excruciating detail just what a terrible job I had done. I got home and recounted the events to my then boyfriend, now husband, and told him how just badly I had blown it, and then blurted out to him, "But I thought I would be so good at this." You're going to have some bad moments too. You're going to be disappointed in your performance, and while I'm not suggesting that that's anything to aspire to, you have to give yourself the space to make some mistakes and to learn from that and not be limited by it. In the legal profession, there's something even more important than how smart you are or how hard you work, and that's your integrity. Being a lawyer is not just a job, it's a profession. It's a profession that's built upon truth and honor and fairness. Your reputation for integrity will take years to build. And And it's developed not by how you describe yourself. I've never entirely trusted people who felt the need to tell me how honest they were. Rather, it will be defined by what you do, how you act, both when the whole world is watching and when no one will ever know. Once you develop that sense of yourself, that compass I mentioned a minute ago, you can weather most anything. Your feet will be firmly planted. At the end of the day, your life will not be measured by how much money you made or how many wins you amassed. The only thing that will matter is whether you made this world a little bit better. And as a lawyer, whether you made it a little bit more just. Regardless of whether you go into private practice or the corporate world, or you become a public defender or a prosecutor or a public policy advocate, you're now a lawyer. And that means that you not only have a unique opportunity and ability that non-lawyers don't have, but also the attendant responsibility to foster justice in this world, to reveal truth, to stand up for the voiceless, to hold our country to its promise of equal justice. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was right when he said that the arc of the moral universe bends towards justice, but it doesn't get there on its own. So grab hold of it and don't let go. The people of our country, and indeed the world, are counting on you. Thank you.
I want to thank Sally Yates for being with us. She has certainly honored us with her presence today, and I also want to thank her for a very thoughtful, meaningful address, even inspiring address. So Doc mentioned her one deficiency, which was that she does not have a degree from Mercer. I can't go back and convince her to attend law school here. So I think we'll do the next best thing. Sally, would you join me at the podium? Dean Cox and Dr. Davis, would you join us as well? Sally Yates, you have proven yourself most deserving of being honored by Mercer. Therefore, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of the university, we're privileged to hereby confer upon you the degree Doctor of Laws, in token of which we vest you with this hood and present to you this citation. Jenny Wright, who serves as Assistant Dean for Student Affairs, will now announce the recipients of the Student Awards.
Thank you, President Underwood. Good afternoon. Today is a joyous occasion, and I am honored to celebrate your many achievements with you, your friends, and your family. As you enter your careers, you will soon realize that your education from Mercer Law School serves as the foundation which gives you the voice and the power to do good, to speak for others when they cannot speak for themselves, and to effectuate change. I look forward to following the many contributions you are certain to offer, not only to your clients and your colleagues, but to your community. On behalf of Dean Cox, Associate Dean Titshaw, faculty, and staff of Mercer University School of Law, I'm proud to present several honors to members of the class of 2019. 10 members of this year's graduating class have been selected for membership into Order of Barristers, a national honorary organization that recognizes excellence in appellate practice and trial advocacy. Members are to be commended for their exceptional service to the Mercer Advocacy Council and to the law school. As I call your name, will the newest members of Order of the Barristers please rise and remain standing as you accept our congratulations? And the audience, if you would please hold your applause until all have been recognized. Gabby Biggs, Gabrielle Clifford, Addison Gant, Lisa Garnata, Clayton Kendrick, Aurora Curbo, Steph Ramirez, Caroline Scalf, Jay Shipp, Yorgos Teresitis. Thank you and congratulations. The Brainerd Curry Honor Society is composed of students who have made valuable contributions to the intellectual fabric of the law school, have achieved academic excellence, have participated in law review or Mercer Advocacy Council, or have provided similar levels of service to the law school or legal community. So if you would please stand as I call your name. Candidates for the Brainerd Curry Honor Society are Michael Berthium, Chase Collum, Maggie Kropp, Terica Crutchfield, Ben Davidson, Addison Gant, Lisa Garnata, Zane Hasty, Britton Hunt, Megan Hurley, Clayton Kendrick, Caroline Scalf, Alex Settle, Lois Carey Weldon, Noah West, Matthew White, Caitlin Weiss, and Robbie Wright. Congratulations to you all. Finally, I have the pleasure of recognizing members of the class of 2019 who have been inducted into membership into Phi Kappa Phi Honor Society. Phi Kappa Phi is a national honor society that recognizes and promotes academic excellence in all fields of higher education and engages its community of scholars in service to others. Would members of Phi Kappa Phi please stand? Chase Collum, Maggie Kropp, Addison Gant, Lisa Garnata, Britton Hunt, Noah West, and Caitlin Weiss. Congratulations to you all. Names of members of Order of the Barristers, Brainerd Curry Honor Society, and Phi Kappa Phi can be found in your program along with a list of student awards that were presented earlier this week. I'm so proud of everyone in the class of 2019, and I truly look forward to following your many, many accomplishments and your many successes as Mercer Law School alumni. So congratulations to all of you.
The Chief Academic Officer of the university is our Provost, Dr. Scott Davis. Dr. Davis will now present the George Waldo Woodruff Award of Excellence.
Would Caitlin Brooke Wise please come to the podium? It's my special privilege to present the 2019 George Waldo Woodruff Award of Excellence. The Woodruff Award was established to honor the memory of George W. Woodruff, a distinguished businessman, proponent of education, and a special friend of the law school. Mr. Woodruff's friendship and generosity made possible the purchase of our law building on Coleman Hill, and his bequest to the law school ensures its stability and success for years to come. The Woodruff Award is the most prestigious award a law student may receive, and it's given to the graduating student who attains the highest cumulative academic average for all 3 years of law study. And at this point, Caitlin Brooke Wise, I present to you the 2019 George Waldo Woodruff Award of Excellence. I now present to you the Editor-in-Chief of the Mercer Law Review, Clayton Thomas Kendrick, who will present the Reynold J. Kozik Excellence in Teaching Award.
Would Professor James P. Fleissner please join me at the podium? Professor Fleissner, on behalf of the Mercer Law Review and the class of 2019, please accept this honor for your distinguished career and your legendary teaching.
Thank you very much.
Dean Cox will now present the candidates for the Juris Doctor degree.
Will the candidates for the Juris Doctorate degree please rise? President Underwood. President Underwood, I have the honor of presenting the candidates for the degree of Juris Doctor. These candidates have been recommended by the faculty of Mercer's School of Law, approved by the Board of Trustees, and I now request that you confer upon them the degree of Juris Doctor.
Upon the recommendation of the faculty and the Dean of the Mercer University School of Law, and by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of the university, it is my distinct privilege to hereby confer upon each of you the degree Juris Doctor. Congratulations.
Members of the graduating class, on behalf of the faculty, the administration, and the trustees of the university, I congratulate you on the achievements that have brought you to this important hour of recognition and commencement. This day, by any measure, is a good day. I want to remind you that the promise of learning neither began nor will it end with the law degree you have earned today. Learning endures. So I urge you, above all else, to keep learning alive. Your willingness to continue learning will carry you into new avenues of service and professional leadership. The completion of this academic degree, which this day celebrates, signals a new era of expectation and achievement in your personal and professional lives. Your work and your relationships through this educational process have grown and matured by your resolve to seek knowledge, by your willingness to think independently, and by your ability to temper the power of emotion with the power of reason. Members of the class of 2019, in the first sentence of the American Bar Association's Model Rules of Professional Conduct, your responsibilities as a lawyer are defined. It states that as a member of the legal profession, You will serve as a representative of clients, an officer of the legal system, and as a public citizen having special responsibility for the quality of justice. Those are serious and weighty responsibilities which you are all well prepared to assume. I charge you now to go forth as graduates of Mercer Law School, ready and willing to pursue the highest standards of our profession in pursuit of justice, to serve as zealous advocates, wise counselors, strong legal writers, and compassionate leaders. Now, family, professors, friends, join me in saluting the graduating class of 2019. Congratulations and best wishes to you all. You may be seated. We are now ready to begin our hooding ceremony. In what we have gathered here to witness, your sons, your daughters, your spouses, your friends will be walking across this stage to be hooded. It is a joyous occasion, but one that calls for the proper respect and decorum that appropriately reflects the importance of this major milestone in the lives of these graduates. On behalf of these graduates of the university, I ask that you moderate your expressions of joy just a little bit and refrain from any forms of celebratory outbursts like whistles, bells, or shouts until all the names have been read, so that every name can be heard by their families and friends, and the graduates can receive this honor in a setting truly befitting this high occasion. We appreciate your cooperation in making this event a tribute to their hard work and efforts through a respectful observance. We have a designated area down front where you may stand to take a photograph of your graduate, and we ask that you please return to your seats after taking a photo to give others the opportunity to take their photographs. We will have a law school photographer taking pictures of every graduate right in front of the platform today. Now, President Underwood, if you would join me again at the podium, and I'd like to ask Maggie Louise Connerly, President of the Student Bar Association, to please come forward and be hooded. Let's do this on the sides.
Okay.
Maggie Louise Connerly will now call the names of the graduates of Mercer University's School of Law for the class of 2019.
Assisting in the commencement ceremony as hooders, selected by the class of 2019, are Professors Richard W. Creswell, Jessica R. Feinberg, James P. Fleissner, and Karen J. Sneddon. Will Professors Richard W. Creswell and James P. Fleissner please come forward? Will the first row of graduates please rise? Will the marshals, Professor Anthony R. Baldwin and Linda D. Gillen, please escort the graduates into position? As I read your name, please come forward to be hooded. Philip Noble Abshire. Alicia Michelle Adamson, cum laude. Diamond Marche Akers. William Michael Apple. Adam Owen Atkinson. Matthew Brett Balser, cum laude. Denzel Lewis Battore. Adriana Elizabeth Beavers. Stephanie Lee Beagle. Noelle Anne Marie Bielke. Griffin McKinley Bell. Austin Lee Bennett. Michael C. Berfume, magna cum laude. Gabrielle Janae Jewel Biggs, cum laude. Julia Ann Blackburn. Robert Brian Bloodworth. Holden Park Burford. Jocelyn Magali Calveo. Morgan Ray Caro Whipple. Taylor Alexander Carter. Courtney Ariel Chester. Andrea Lynn Clark. Lucas Hayden Clark. Gabrielle Renee Clifford. Carol Whitney Collier. Matthew Chase Collum, magna cum laude. Amber Racine Cook. Maggie Ann Kropp, cum laude. Terica Monique Crutchfield, magna cum laude. Christopher Michael Duke Davis. John Clinton Doss. Daniel Madre Dupree. Micah James East. Winston Andrew Edwards. Nicole Oyedamilola Iswola, cum laude. Colin Matthew Foster. Laura Lee Fox. Ezra Addison Gant, magna cum laude. William Reese Giddens. Matthew Richard Gilbo, cum laude. Austin Ryan Goebel. Nicholas Patrick Greer. Jake Marvin Griffith. Lisa Michelle Garnata, magna cum laude. Jessica Taylor Hagan. Sammy David Hall, Jr. Gracie Elizabeth Ham. Dylan Zane Hasty, cum laude. Taylor Dane Heron. Sean Gray Hickey. Aubriana Bernice Horton. Stephen Tyler Houston. Frank Armstrong Howard. Hillary Holton Hunnings. Britton Zachary Hunt, magna cum laude. Megan Rena Hurley, cum laude. Amber Tiffany Jones. Haley McCoy Keener. Will Professors Jessica R. Feinberg and Karen J. Sneddon please come forward to hood the remainder of the class of 2019? Clayton Thomas Kendrick, cum laude. Amanda K. Landis. Kyle Donald Lankhorst, cum laude. Autumn Nicole Leader. Jared Patrick Lee, magna cum laude. Emily Christine Long. Isabella Karina Lugo. Molly Elizabeth Lustig. Mary Teresa Mafood, cum laude. Charles Henry Mann IV. Kelly Lynn Mason. Antonio Jose Matos Cabrera, cum laude. Justin Brady McCarter. Chase Anthony McFarland, cum laude. Christopher Lynn Meredith, cum laude. Michelle Anders Milkey. Devin Kelly Mock. Elliot Takaaki Knoll. John Samuel O'Brien III. Olivia Kathleen O'Brien, cum laude. Haley Colleen Passion. Estefania Paula Ramirez. Christopher Norris Riley. Jonathan Paul Richardson, cum laude. Kelly Danielle Richardson. Kyle Jason Roy. Hannah Jane Rozier. Caitlin Marie Rule. Janelle Alicia Russell. Caroline LeMay Scalf, cum laude. Conley Jackson Scott III. Alec Clark Settle, magna cum laude. Nicholas Michael Shackelford. Caitlin Elizabeth Ann Smith. Jordan Claire Spivey. Melissa Caroline Sport, cum laude. Alexandra Michelle Strollo. Jacob Edward Summer. Yorgis Kyriakou Teresides. Spencer Dylan Tyson. Heather Victoria Valentine. Alyssa LeBrook Alexandria Waldrop. Stephen Lynn Walters II. Olivia Ann Warner. Chloe Jacqueline Emmanuel Webster Wilkins. Lois Carrington Weldon, cum laude. Noah Campbell West, magna cum laude. Matthew M. B. White, magna cum laude. Michael Chaz Whitehead, cum laude. Reed Lewis Wilkinson. Kyle Heinzman Williams. Tierra Mary Elaine Williams. Caitlin Brooke Wise, summa cum laude. We have several graduates who have chosen to be hooded by family members, who are themselves graduates of Mercer Law School. I will announce the name of each of these graduates, as well as the name of the family member who will be hooding them. Noah Thomas Bledsoe, hooded by his uncle, Jonathan L. Bledsoe, class of 2002. Benjamin Carl Davidson, cum laude, hooded by his cousin, the Honorable David L. Mincy, class of 2003. Alex Emerson Downey, hooded by his mother, Sarah Tifton Downey, class of 1977. Benjamin Waldrop Hardin III, hooded by his father, Benjamin W. Hardin Jr., cum laude, class of 1985, and his sister, Maddie H. Tondreau, cum laude, class of 2015. Amzie Amanda Harper, hooded by her aunt, C. Elizabeth Devon Costner, class of 1993. Richard W. Jenkins, cum laude, hooded by his son-in-law, Tash Bandora, class of 2018. Aurora Olivia Lynn Curbo, hooded by her grandfather, Thomas L. Curbo III, class of 1967, and her aunt, Dorothy Curbo McCraney, class of 1999. Jordan Morris McIntyre, hooded by her husband, Ian A. McIntyre, class of 2017. Simon Michael Peed, hooded by his father, the Honorable F. Gates Peed, cum laude, class of 1982. Jamara Edward Shipp, hooded by his cousin, Virgil L. Adams, class of 1980. James Reuben Smakel, hooded by his father, Dennis Smakel, class of 1987. Mark Coleman Walker Jr., hooded by his father, Mark C. Walker Sr., class of 1987, and his mother, Mary H. Walker, class of 1987. Robert Glenn Wright, magna cum laude, hooded by his uncle, Melvin B. Wright, class of 1985. Congratulations.
Ann Caulfield Wiggins graduated from Mercer Law School in 2005. She is an equity partner at Balch and Bingham and is active with several state bar committees. She and her husband Todd live in College Park with their daughters who attend Woodward Academy. Ms. Kaufman-Wiggins is the current president of the Alumni Association Board of Directors and is here to welcome the class of 2019 into the Mercer University Alumni Association. It is my pleasure to present Ann Kaufman-Wiggins.
It is with pleasure that I stand before you today as a graduate of the Mercer University School of Law and as your president of the Mercer University Law School Alumni Association. As my career in the legal profession has progressed, so has my appreciation for the legal education that I received here at Mercer. I know that the education that you have received here is the key to your professional future. How you use that key is up to you. On behalf of all the members of the Alumni Association, I wish to extend our congratulations to you on this special day. We extend to you best wishes for a productive and happy professional life. We are ready to assist you in achieving your professional goals. At this time, I would like to officially declare each of you a member of the Mercer University School of Law Alumni Association. I am certain that our association is strengthened by your membership, and we hope you will participate in our alumni events, that you will keep us informed of your achievements and special events in your lives, and continue to give back to the law school that has given you the opportunities for success that you will soon realize. Congratulations and good luck.
Well, this has been a special day. It's been a joyous occasion. I want to once again extend our gratitude to our special guest, Sally Yates, for honoring us with her presence today. I want to thank all of the friends and family of our graduates assembled for making this such a special occasion for them. At this time, I'd ask that you all stand. Timothy Floyd will now give our benediction. After the benediction, please remain in place until after the recessional.
At the conclusion of this ceremony, we invite all of you to a reception. It's in Heritage Hall, the street level floor of this building, just behind you. Now, graduates of the class of 2019, receive this benediction. When today's cheers and applause go quiet, may you continue to celebrate and to share in the joy of this day. As the voices and speeches of today recede, may your voices rise up to pronounce peace and justice in the world. And as you go forth, may you be blessed with the grace to make wise choices and to be faithful to your commitments, always confident in the support of those who love you. May you be blessed with impatience with easy answers and half-truths, so that you will continue to ask the hard questions. May you be blessed with discomfort with superficial relationships, so that you may reach for deep connections with others. May you be blessed with tears to shed for those who suffer from pain, hunger, and violence, so that you may reach out your hand to comfort them. May you be blessed with anger at injustice, oppression, and exploitation, so that you will work for justice, freedom, and peace. And may you be blessed with just enough foolishness to believe that you can make a difference in this world, so that you can do what others claim cannot be done. And may you always seek justice, practice kindness, and walk in humility. So go forth in confidence, in gratitude, and in joy. Amen.